wanted to see how much of the suspension travel I used. Kreft puts on this little band down here. You can see the little rubber band that you can move up and down. So this would be bottoming, and when I moved it just a few minutes ago, it had been all the way down at the bottom. I'm going to push this back up a bit, and we'll get to see how much suspension we're using. It was down at the bottom when I saw it, so I had bottomed it before on today's ride, but it didn't like bottom out and feel nasty or anything. Let's see if we can get to a good flow here. You know, a couple of years ago, there was one section down on this trail, and I haven't ridden this part of the trail for at least 2 years, maybe more, but a couple of years ago, I was riding this a bunch, and there was a section of trail down here where I like washed my front end out, kind of went down, and every time I went through it for a long time, oh shoot, brain fart, that's what I get for talking too much. Every time I went through it, it was just in my head, and I love coming up out of that and just jumping, but it was in my head, and I just was so tentative through that section, and I don't know exactly where it is. I think it still might be coming up, but this is a lot rougher now than it used to be because there's so many more bikes going on it. But I've got a lot of confidence in this suspension setup right now. I think that's probably the best part, is that now that I've tinkered with it a little bit, I've just got quite a bit of confidence in what it's going to do. It's pretty darn predictable, which is a high compliment, I think, to give. There's a little bit different feel to the Magura brake than the Brembo brake as far as the front goes, and I just feel like the Magura feel like I have on this bike is a little bit more mushy. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I just feel like I end up having to pull a little bit further and a little bit harder with this Magura front brake than I do on a lot of the Brembo setups. I almost like the Nissans that I find, like on the Yamahas and things. They're pretty good, but I feel like I don't have quite as much control. This one I've got plenty of control, but I just have to kind of pull it a little harder. You know, it's not grabby, which is a really good thing, but sometimes, I don't know, I think I prefer the Brembo brake setup on my bikes. Man, this suspension is so good. It'll just launch you. Like, it's right when I want it to soak things up, it will. And then when I want it to just kind of launch me through a section to pop me over a bunch of rocks, it'll do that. Really cool. Yes. Bike's got a light, agile, nimble feel. Not quite as nimble as my 250, the 250s. but very, very similar. These EFI motors, I do feel like they make the bike feel slightly lighter. It's just a little bit more of a playful feel, in my opinion. So the bikes just feel dynamite. That used to be the mist line down through there. The line actually went to the left back there. But so many people, including me, would miss it, drop down in the ditch a little bit further. Just everybody created a line down there. And to the road. Make sure I don't get killed by some side-by-side doing like 90. I love just bombing down through a wash like this and, you know, kind of just popping off the little whoops. Kind of doing a little mini double like that. Yeah. Blow the turn.